Follow your instinct. I mean, you're obviously a higher soul here. And since you're a senior beauty therapist, you people are going to look to you for respect, and that's when you can change the consciousness of the people by changing your consciousness to nothing but good stuff for your body. Because women have to start appreciating their bodies, and don't put on anything on your skin that's going to hurt you, or that's going to, because anything that goes into the blood is going to hit the brain. And forget this blood-brain barrier. I've had plenty of medical doctors tell me that's a fallacy, and I believe it because there's nothing you can keep out of the brain. I don't care what you're saying. So just treat yourselves very nice here. And the men, too. Treat ourselves all nice. That's the beauty of nature. It's the beauty of herbs and essential oils. God, there's so much neat stuff. We should be seeking that. And that's to you, Shania Twain. Get your new perfumes and stuff organic and natural. Pups Pepper. That's an interesting name. Hi, man. I want you to read your book. The text me. I read that. There's a 2011 version and a 2004 version. I've never updated that. But someone got on my case from that. They got mad because I didn't have an updated version on it. This is so simple, guys. I'm kind of redoing my book online here with you. To be honest with you, I find this much more effective in training. I find this a great tool to help you guys. I will update the book. The editor's on my butt, so I will do that. There's a couple things I'd like to get in there, especially on distilled water, because it was in the day, distilled water was the thing. But unless you're distilling it yourself, you never buy distilled water in plastic. I mean, just the taste, you can taste the poly from it. So I don't recommend distilled water in plastic. I mean, get a good mountain, get a good 8 pH water if you want. That's okay, but most of the time you're not going to be over thirsty for water. You've got plenty of fruits full of water. Berries, vegetables are full of water. This is energized water, mineralized water, if you will. And I had a young girl in here yesterday, really bloated out here. And of course, they told her to drink lots and lots of water. Well, it just bloated her up more. I guess you're gonna know best if there is. So, me short if there is, or a real healer. Love Pups Pepper. Just get the version, whichever version you want. The YouTube videos are full of this information for you, and get yourself a healing, young man. And a channel 139 on a lonesome highway down 39. How much calcium do you really need in our 60s and is eating, in our 60s, and is eating 1/2 nori seaweed sheet? That's plenty. For making sushi rolls, pre-soaked just to soften, and baby spinach leaves and mixed green salad, enough per day. Well, if you consider we're frugivores and that fruits probably have lower amounts of calcium than other foods, then you can kind of get an idea. We kind of went down mineral road here for a while and got lost and packed in mega minerals. Got a lot of people with arthritis doing it, but I'm not into heavy inorganic minerals, elementals per se. I think they're adequately charged up in fruits. They came more into salts when you get up into this higher level of thinking. And I think you have to understand it also reflects our level of consciousness. Sometimes if we're real negative and some of the souls just haven't got outside of the woods yet, they're polarized consciously or unconsciously to the lower forms of food. When you start growing spiritually and to God, you're polarized to higher forms of food, because as you start eating a diet, and this is something we haven't talked a lot about, but it kind of goes to spirituality, where you got on one hand a diet that's very omnivorous and full of dairies and dead animals and white flowers and crap like this. And it doesn't breed high spirituality. So there's a tug of war when you're trying to grow spiritually and trying to maintain a diet like that. There's a tear there between your physical self and you. And so you've got to change that to grow spiritually. Sometimes you've got to start eating foods that are more energetic, more harmonious, because when you plug into the circuit of God, you're plugging into energy. You're plugging into some massive amounts of energy there. And so you can't eat negative foods. And on the other hand, there's been times where I've had so much energy and spirit flowing through me, I was shaking, and I grounded well by eating a baked potato or something, and it brought me down. But it shows you how it dissipated the energy in my body, so my body wouldn't be shaken so much, and I just brought that energy down. And through the years, I tolerate more and more and more and more and more as you become more of a channel for it, but your body can still take a little bit of a hit. Except for that, it is vital that man changes his diet, and I think this is the back door for me. I've always looked at spirituality because I've taught so many classes on out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, and God as a whole. And I love that side of it much more than the health side of it, obviously. But I've been so trapped in this side of it for so many years because of the need. But I always thought it's how we come in the back door. And we say hello, we love you, we sit down with them and from the back door, and then they grow spiritually as they start detoxifying, getting rid of all the negative energies out of the body, the karma runs off, and pretty soon people are waking up out of their slumbers. And that's the best doorway, because man's suffering so much, he has to find this level. I mean, this is what's going on. I said this before in past videos, we're out of time here on this planet. No more time playing in the fields of medical dreams. That needs to die off and change radically. Can't keep going medically. We're going to find the elixir someday kind of consciousness and this kind of crap, the kind of hurting, the kind of pain that field, the focus of that field, the lack of understanding of that field, the ignorance, the arrogance of that field, that's got to just die away, because we need a renaissance of love and spirituality and healing and of health and love between us as spiritual beings, but love between us and all creatures. So it's just the diet and getting healthy is just a great way to open up one spiritually. And there's some that are on diets that they only open so far. That's okay. It's okay. This is Anna again. How much calcium? I don't know how much calcium. Like I said, I've been guilty way back giving calcium supplements. I mean, that's what we did. I don't do that anymore. I don't ever see any deficiencies. What we see is the rebuilding of structure and bones on a fruitarian diet. But even if you have some green drinks and some salads, good, fine. All that rebuilds bones. Remember, you need a good parathyroid, and you need to quit losing calcium. You got to consider other factors instead of just saying, well, do I need more calcium because I don't, my fingernails are weak and all that. Start looking at why you're having the brittle fingernail. Start looking at what's taking the calcium out of you. And how does calcium, what's the channel of calcium? And the parathormone is the parathyroid hormone that's essential to calcium utilization. So as that, you have to consider all these other issues: digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination. These are the four vital aspects of being healthy. Digestion, that's essential. Absorption, that's essential. How many people we talked about with malabsorption? Then you have utilization. Few people remember that, especially naturopath. Utilization, adrenals, parathyroid. Without good adrenals, you can forget zinc, selenium, B12s, all those things. I just had a lady that the B12 is just really high. Of course, she's all raw and not eating any meat. Must be a problem. Oh, IDM, weight, SIDM. Wow, man, are you a muscle guy, man? Look at that picture. Holy moly, I hope you didn't put those on with protein, son. Hi, can anyone help me? I've just been watching a video on glyceration by another doctor. He says not to eat carbs. Even we don't need any carbs, and you should stay with protein and fats. Now you're saying how much of protein is harming us, and it's okay to eat fruit. I was using fruit as a treat until I looked into glyceration. Confused, thanks. I'm not sure I know what glyceration is, to be honest with you. Well, I appreciate you coming to the YouTube and appreciate that question, my friend. I can tell you this, whoever told you that has no clue about health. They might look at and bulk up on it, but this person that told you that is ignorant about health. You cannot do that. That's a medical consciousness. These guys went the negative acid way, and they're killing people right and left. That whole field has no comprehension of health and vitality. Give me one patient a doctor cured, except for the use of surgery. There is none. You have to understand a little more about nutrition and health. We're not nitrogen prints, we're carbon prints. And carbon is sugar, and sugar is carbohydrates. Carbon is carbohydrates. Carbon chain constituents is carbohydrates. Carbon. And that's essential. That's the Atkins philosophy right here. Killed a lot of people, he did, and hurt a lot of people, he did. And I got a lot of the people he hurt in here. And I told you the lady, her bladder was all deteriorated inside from these high-protein diets. You want to live on a high-protein diet, go right ahead, but I guarantee you someday you're going to be looking one of us up and in big trouble, my friend. Do not, this guy you're listening to, whoever it is, has no clue about health. I can tell you that. You don't do high protein and stuff. That's not in the picture. You don't see it. Look at the closest species we are, primates. You never see high protein consumers in primates. And when you do, there's one chimpanzee family that is now cannibals. And these guys are aggressive. You don't want to get near these chimpanzees. They'll rip 3 or 4 humans apart just looking at them. You don't get near that. This is what our problem is. It's bred violence. It's bred bowel cancers. It's bred kidney failure. These high-protein diets, extreme acidosis, calcium loss. This person has no clue. So, my friend, do yourself a big favor. Back away from this person. Get yourself healthy before you end up losing your kidneys, because you look like a muscle guy, and I have plenty of them in here that can tell you some other stories. One was a pro bodybuilder, great big 28-inch arms, whatever. You know, this poor guy has just had surgery because I couldn't get him to regenerate. He couldn't do all raw. And this is some of the problems, you know. All his joints are gone. I mean, this guy's in bad shape from pumping the iron and pumping proteins. Can't do it, and we see this all the time. So that advice you were given is flat wrong. This is our field. If you want to know about health, you do go to naturopaths. Unfortunately, current naturopaths are not taught really a lot about health, unfortunately. Supplements and things like this, but at least they're going to be your most knowledgeable on the planet is your naturopaths. Dietitians, that's American Dietetics Association.